James's secretary's jealousy, and the destruction of the phone gift from James's mother to Diep. Will James fire his secretary? The first time Diep held the sleek new smartphone, her heart danced. It gleamed in her hand like a promise, a gift from James's mother, a symbol of welcome into a world she had never known. Yet before she could press its smooth screen, the device slipped from her grasp and shattered on the marble floor. In that fractured reflection, Diep saw more than broken glass. She saw the shadow of jealousy lurking within James's own office. Trang, James's long-trusted secretary, had always worn a polite smile and offered efficient assistance. But in recent weeks, that friendliness had given way to furtive glances and tight-lipped resentment. She watched James and Diep share laughter on video calls, noticed the sparkle in his eyes when he spoke of the village girl sparkle that once had been reserved for her own reputation. And so, driven by envy, Trang committed the unthinkable. She seized the gift from James's mother, slipped it into her desk, and deliberately smashed it. She left no trace of her guilt, only the shattered shards of hope. When Diep received the news, her voice trembled. I don't understand," she whispered, tears pooling. "James's mother chose this especially for me. What did I do to deserve this pain?" Across town, James's phone buzzed with an urgent message. The gift had been broken. His heart sank, not for the phone, but for the trust he had placed in Trang. He rushed back from his business trip, anger and confusion wrestling in his chest. Confrontation came in the quiet of the evening. James entered his office to find Trang's composure cracking as he laid out the evidence: a surveillance snapshot, a witness testimony, the unmistakable pattern of her fingerprints on the shattered case. "Why?" he asked, voice low but fierce. Trang's eyes, once bright with ambition, dulled with shame. "I was scared," she confessed. "Scared of being replaced, of losing you." Now James stands at a crossroads. Firing Trang would send a clear message. Betrayal cannot be tolerated in his inner circle. Yet he remembers the loyalty she once showed, the long hours she sacrificed. As Diep watches him weigh his decision, she offers only this: "Your heart will guide you." In that moment, James realizes that mercy and justice often sleep side by side, and that true leadership requires both strength and compassion. Will Trang lose her position forever? Or will James grant her a final chance to rebuild what she destroyed? Only time and the choices he makes will reveal the answer. James sat alone in his office, the broken phone case still lying on his desk. The memory of Trang's confession, her eyes brimming with fearful regret, echoed in his mind. Beyond the glass walls, the city lights flickered, indifferent to the turmoil inside him. He closed his eyes and thought of Diep, gentle, hardworking, proud, and forever hesitant to accept kindness. How could he let someone's insecurity wound her again? With a decisive breath, he rose and strode down the corridor toward the breakout room where Trang waited. Trang sat on the edge of a leather sofa, head bowed. When James entered, she looked up, fear flickering in her eyes. "Sit," he said softly. She obeyed, hands clasped tightly in her lap. He placed the shattered phone face up on the coffee table. "This was a gift from my mother to Diep," he began. "It symbolized more than convenience. It was her way of welcoming Diep into our family." Trang swallowed. "I know. I'm sorry." James steadied his voice. "I understand your fear of losing your place here, but you chose jealousy over loyalty, and it cost someone you care about dearly." He paused. "I have to make a decision about your future with this company." Tears welled in Trang's eyes. "I'm willing to face any consequence." Just then, a soft knock sounded. Diep stepped in, glancing at the broken phone, and then at Trang. James gestured for her to stay. "Trang," Diep said quietly, "I know you're sorry, but I also know what it feels like to be afraid of losing someone. When James and I first started, I worried I wasn't enough for him." Trang's tears fell freely now. "I became strong only because he believed in me," Diep continued, "and because he gave me mercy when I stumbled. You deserve that chance. Too, if you promise to rebuild trust, not just with James, but with me." James watched them. He saw in Diep's compassion the strength he always admired. Finally, he turned to Trang. You will stay, he said gently but firmly. But you will earn back our trust. You will make amends, help Diep replace this phone, and volunteer your time to support her community projects. And from today on, you will work under closer mentorship. If you fail me again, I won't hesitate. Trang nodded, relief and determination mingling on her face. Thank you. I won't let you down. Weeks later, Trang accompanied Diep to a small electronics shop in the village where local youth learned repair skills under Diep's patient guidance. Trang and the young trainees carefully restored the phone, replacing its screen, cleaning its casing, and engraving a small lotus emblem on the back to symbolize forgiveness and growth. When the repair was done, Diep handed the phone back to James, her smile radiant. James slid the new phone into his pocket, then turned to Trang. Your work here matters, he said. Thank you. Trang bowed her head, tears of gratitude in her eyes. In that moment, the broken gift had become a symbol of something far greater, the power of mercy, the strength of accountability, and the promise of redemption. And as the sun set on the village horizon, James, Diep, and Trang stepped forward together into a future built not on perfection, but on trust renewed and hearts made stronger by forgiveness. Months had passed since the phone's restoration. The village buzzed with anticipation for its first ever harvest, and Harmony Gala, an event Diep had organized to celebrate local farmers, craftsmen, and students. James and Trang arrived together, hand in hand in support, their presence a powerful testament to forgiveness and teamwork. Under strings of lanterns, villagers displayed baskets of fresh produce, hand-woven textiles, and neatly repaired electronics. Trang walked alongside Diep, proudly introducing her to apprentices. She had taught. Each repaired screen and each mended friendship was a small victory against the shadows of the past. James took the stage, clearing his throat. Tonight, we honor hard work, community, and second chances, he announced, eyes sweeping the crowd. He paused, smiling at Diep and then at Trang. And we remind ourselves that when we choose compassion over judgment, we build not just devices but futures. Applause rippled through the gathering. Even the children cheered, their laughter melding with the crackle of a bonfire. Later, away from the crowd, Diep and Trang stood by a wooden fence overlooking the fields. Thank you for believing in me, Trang said softly to Diep, her voice thick with emotion. Without your forgiveness, I don't know where I'd be. Diep placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You chose to make things right. That took courage. Never forget that. James approached, slipping each of them an arm around their shoulders. We make mistakes, he said, but it's what we do after that defines us. They watched as lanterns floated upward, carrying the wishes and dreams of every villager. In that warm glow, their trio, once fractured by jealousy, stood whole again. As the gala wound down, James revealed the next step, a scholarship fund for talented young villagers to study technology and agriculture, co-sponsored by his company. Trang would manage the program, ensuring fair selection and mentoring each student. Diep would oversee the sustainable farming workshops, sharing her knowledge of the land. Together, they pledged to cultivate both crops and character, planting seeds of opportunity that would blossom for generations. In the months to come, the program flourished. Students presented innovative irrigation systems, farmers showcased higher yield crops, repaired electronics, powered new classrooms, and every success carried the imprint of forgiveness, empathy, and collective effort. As dawn broke over emerald fields and modern solar panels alike, James, Diep, and Trang stood side by side, their journey marked by broken gifts, shattered trust, and eventual reconciliation, had led them here to a future where compassion and accountability grew hand in hand, stronger than any obstacle they could face. Just as life in the village settled into a comforting rhythm, an unexpected visitor arrived one evening. Detective La, a seasoned investigator sent by the city authorities. He requested to see James immediately. In the lantern-lit office of the scholarship program, James exchanged a worried glance with Diep and Trang before stepping outside with the detective. I'm sorry to worry you, Detective La said gravely. We have reason to believe John is resurfacing. He's been spotted near the dam site talking to unknown investors. His aim to discredit your company's renewable energy project and reclaim the land. James's jaw tightened. He never quits. Detective Lee continued, "We intercepted this letter." He handed over an envelope bearing Diep's name in careful script. Inside was a veiled threat. If she did not leave James, something would happen to the irrigation system she championed. Back in the workshop, Diep's hands shook around a seedling. "He's attacking our work and our lives," she whispered. Trang stepped forward, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. "We stand together. We protect what we've built." James nodded. "We must act swiftly. Detective, what do you need from us?" Over the next days, the trio transformed the Gala's scholarship office into a command center. James liaised with legal counsel to freeze John's assets. Detective Lee coordinated local patrols to secure the dam site. Trang organized emergency repairs for the irrigation channels, and Diep rallied the villagers to attend a community meeting. Under the banyan tree in the village square, hundreds gathered: farmers, students, and families. James addressed them with calm determination. "John thinks he can bully us, break our spirits," he said. "But this community is stronger. Today, we stand not as victims, but as guardians of our future." The crowd erupted in applause. In that moment, their unity became the strongest barrier against any outside threat. At dawn, police and volunteers guarded the dam. James, Diep, and Trang watched from the overlook as John approached with a small convoy. He stopped, saw the blockade, and called out, "James, step aside. You know I own the rights to this land." James stepped forward, confidence in his voice. "Not anymore. The contract you forged has been declared null, and these people," he gestured to the villagers, "will defend it." John's face twisted in rage. He realized his schemes had been undone by evidence, by solidarity, and by the unwavering love between James and Diep. Without a word, he turned and walked away defeated. Months later, the dam powered new pumps for the rice fields. Solar panels glinted on school rooftops. The scholarship fund supported promising students, and the repaired irrigation channels nourished every crop. Standing together by the river, James slipped an arm around Diep as Trang joined them, a triumphant smile on her face. They had faced jealousy, betrayal, and threats and prevailed through trust, forgiveness, and unity. As the morning light danced on the water, Diep squeezed James's hand. "Together," she whispered. "Always," he replied. And in that promise, their story found its strongest chapter yet. Forgiveness heals. Offering mercy to those who have wronged us like Trang can transform broken trust into renewed loyalty and purpose. Unity is power. When a community stands together, James, Diep, Trang, and the villagers, they create an unbreakable defense against jealousy, betrayal, or external threats. Integrity builds legacy, protecting what is right, whether a gift, a company project, or the land itself, ensures that success is earned with honor, not taken by deceit. Love and trust endure. True bonds are tested by hardship. Only through compassion, honesty, and mutual support can love grow stronger and inspire lasting change.